to the Hurt Syndicate. So, Heat Rumours, this is from last week, and there's a bit of a follow-up to this that I'm going to find the video of to show you. SE Scoops, this is from Hurt Syndicate, reportedly has heat in AEW. Rumours have been swirling around about the trio of Shelton Benjamin, MVP, and Bobby Lashley refusing to put certain teams over. Now, Fightful Select has provided an update on the same. MVP has stated in interviews multiple times that he wants the faction to create new stars, and according to the report, this has resulted in the group refusing to lose to teams they don't feel need the win. Specifically, Jet Speed and FTR. Right, Jet Speed is Speedball Mike Bailey. This is going to come up again in a minute. Speedball Mike Bailey. And FTR. Now, I'll speed through this next bit. Apparently, Hurt Syndicate, according to these reports that were coming out at the time, so take it for what they're worth, refused to wrestle or put over FTR twice on 2 consecutive pay-per-views, so they ended up not wrestling them at all, or something like that. Anyway, backstage news, what the hell's that? Oh yeah, the teams, they do seem to be open to dropping the titles to the Gates of Agony, the Outrunners, and Private Party, but people within the locker room have pointed out that the Syndicate has already beaten all 3 of these teams. So there was also a discussion about the trio being open to losing to Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay, but there wasn't any extensive talk because Ospreay's neck injury is sort of preventing that. They haven't heard anything specific about Benjamin or Lashley, and MVP seems to be at the centre of this controversy due to rubbing people the wrong way. The Hurt Syndicate manager was said to have made his dislike for Speedball Mike Bailey clear, though nobody knows any specific reason for the same. So, Hurt Syndicate, massive
Who is
dudes.
Speedball Mike Bailey?
He was an indie darling that AEW signed a few months ago. He's a fairly small guy.
Yeah. Okay. And so what's the question?
So apparently they're hated or heated, or they've got heat, or whatever you want to say it.
Okay.
Because they're refusing to put over teams that are obviously quite clearly not worth putting over. Apart from FTR, though.
Okay. That tells me that whole ship is just floating out in the ocean. Doesn't have a captain, doesn't have a navigator. They're just floating to wherever they float to. And who's in charge of this thing? It's got to be Tony Khan, right? Tony Khan has to make the decision. Now, if they get Tony by himself, and those guys are kind of big guys anyway, they maybe get him to agree to a couple of things, but you can't agree with it just because they're in the room with you. You got to agree with what's best for business. But I don't think Tony, because Tony got into business because he had $1 billion. That's how he got into business. And he loves wrestling. I got all that. But yet at the same time, you want people to watch the show. Now, let's go to the Hurt business. I kind of understand their position, but that they shouldn't be putting over these guys that weigh 150 pounds, 160 pounds. I kind of agree with that. But it's not their decision to make. See, they need to have a creative guy or a booker guy or somebody who knows how to do some of this stuff, at least the necessary elements of it to get it to be halfway believable. And that believability problem starts when they're just looking at each other across the ring. If you see Bobby Lashley and Benjamin, they're standing there. I mean, they're like 2 jacked up guys. If you look at Speedball Mike Bailey, 165 pounds of him or whatever. If you're not even a wrestling fan, if you're saying, okay, if this guy here, pointing at the Hurt business, are going to wrestle that guy there, who's going to win? Well, of course you're going to pick the bigger guy. So he's going to wipe the floor with him. So I don't blame the Hurt business for saying, oh, we're just not going to do that. Now, if I'm writing somebody's check and I want them to do something and they won't do it, well, we got a problem. So I don't know how they're going to fix that problem, but something needs to be, because they got money in the Hurt business. They got money. I like the name too. I like that name.
It's a shame WWE owns it. That's why they had to be the Hurt Syndicate.
Is that what they are?
Yeah, in AEW, they're the Hurt
okay.
Syndicate. It's the same thing.
But they need to come to a. See, that's one of the few groups that's kind of stayed together over there, and FTR. I don't know why, and they won't put FTR over either.
Yeah, we don't know why. Assuming it's true, of course, which is is wrestling journalism, so it might well not be true. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting one. Why FTR? I mean, obviously, you know, Jet Speed and Speedball Mike Bailey and Keith, you know, that obviously, you know, they don't pass the airport test as compared to, you know, the Hurt Syndicate, and also, it's just stupid. You know, the Hurt Syndicate are proper stars. Why would you, you know, waste it on them? But here's the thing: it's like, doesn't WWE contracts, and this is specifically WWE, I don't know about AEW, didn't they have something in their contract that said all finishes are final, non-negotiable? You either do what final, non-negotiable. Yeah, and it's like, well, okay, if you don't do them, you're suspended or you're fired. Then it's like, I don't even know why this is an issue.
It's an issue because Tony Khan hadn't put his foot down on it. And he may, I don't know. See, that is a company, but Tony won't hire a booker, will he?
No, he's actively not hiring bookers.
He is the booker, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he finds time to do all of it, to tell you the truth. I think he's burnt out. He's done this for 4 years, and what are they doing with MJ? Huh?
6 years now.
6 years. What are they doing with MJF?
Oh, he joined the Hurt Syndicate, and then he left the Hurt Syndicate, and now he's AAA middleweight champion now. We don't know quite what's happening with MJF, but he might be heading towards a babyface turn again. I want to ask you this one more thing, right? So somebody else who was difficult to work with in AEW, it was Rusev, Miro, and then Tony just paid him to sit at home and didn't use him. And then he went over to WWE, where he will do what he's told, and he's on the most nondescript run of his career, pretty much. Because nobody even remembers he's there, and nobody's really cheering or reacting to him at all. I mean, I understand you have to fight your corner at some point, of course, Dutch, but where's the fine balance? Was MVP always this annoying to deal with?
Well, I don't know him that well. And I think he's reasonable, but you have to have somebody that can talk to him. But it's not the office's, I say the office, the company's place to really talk to a talent to get them to do something. Say, listen, this is what we want you to do. And there's no negotiation with it. You either do it or, you know, we just stop payment. Because unless he does what you want him to do, you're paying him to lead his own crusade. And I don't know, that does not work. Like if you got a football team and the quarterback, he wants to run one play and the coach wants to run another, who takes the precedent? Who gets to, if the coach can't call the play and the quarterback's coming out right then. And I don't know what AEW's problem with, but I think they have several of those, I think, prima donnas. That's what we call them in the business, prima donnas that don't want to do anything else but what they want to do. But yeah, but that's not, I've never been in a company like that, ever, because what you're looking for then is total disarray. And you can tell by watching their show, sometimes it's not all together. I don't even watch their show anymore. I wish them luck. I wish Tony had a lot of luck. But Tony, you gotta be a boss one time in your life. And they either like it or they don't like it.
Just as an example of how wrestling rumors can get out of hand very, very quickly. So one of the accusations was that MVP has a particular disdain for Speedball Mike Bailey. So in response to those rumors, MVP and Mike Bailey filmed this little video and posted it, so one sec. Okay, I'll play.
Once again, I'm pretty disappointed that speedball. Well, you too, MVP. Wait, tell him. You speedball. Well, you guys too.
There you go.
I didn't hear that. What did he say?
What? You didn't hear any audio at all?
I heard some of it, but it was
yeah, it wasn't great. They just said "f you" to each other for 20 seconds, as a response to those rumors saying that they didn't like each other.
Well, that was a nothing.
No, yeah.
That was a big bag of nothing. I don't get that at all.
Right, we're going to do two more little things. In fact, just one more really, and then we're going to shut down the show because once again.
Okay, this. Where did he get the term speedball?
It's a mixture of different drugs. It killed River Phoenix.
It is not.
Yeah, a speedball is a mixture of heroin and cocaine.
But he's not really fast.
He's fairly fast. Yeah, I think it's a play on words.
He wasn't the guy who they used to have a baseball stadium or something, and one guy would get, it's for the crowd. The fan would get the head start, and the other guy would chase him. The guy may have a 40-yard head start, and they'd go all around the outfield, and they would race and see who won. So that wasn't that guy, was it?
That was probably not Mike Bailey, no.
Okay.